The deeper you reflect, the more it becomes painfully clear. This world was never designed with you in mind. If you perceive intricate patterns where others see meaningless noise, if you question what the majority blindly accepts without hesitation, then you've already felt it. The frustration, the isolation, the crushing weight of a society that glorifies conformity and punishes those who dare to think for themselves. This is not random. It is deliberate, a carefully constructed design meant to suppress, not empower. We exist in an age where intelligence is not merely undervalued, it is systematically stifled. Instead of teaching you how to think, the world dictates what to think. The media floods your mind with endless distractions, ensuring you remain too preoccupied to dig deeper, too mentally drained to challenge the status quo. And should you attempt to break free, the system will brand you as rebellious, arrogant, or detached from reality. But today, everything changes. In this video, we will uncover the silent war waged against intelligence, the hidden mechanisms keeping you from unlocking your full potential. More importantly, we'll show you how to rise above it, outthink the system, and escape the invisible trap that keeps 99% of people in a state of unconscious submission. Miss even a single moment of this, and you risk remaining ensnared in a structure built solely to control you. Now let's begin. From an early age, intelligent individuals begin to sense that they don't quite fit in. The way you perceive the world is different. While others accept things at face value, you instinctively analyze, question, and challenge the underlying assumptions. But instead of receiving encouragement, you are often met with blank stares, confusion, or even outright hostility. You speak in ideas, while most people speak in emotions. You crave deep, thought-provoking discussions, yet the majority seem content engaging in surface-level conversations. Gossip about celebrities, the latest viral trend, or meaningless small talk. And as time goes on, the realization begins to sink in. You are alone. But this isolation is not an illusion. It is a fundamental flaw embedded within society itself. The world is not designed for intellectual depth. It is optimized for the average mind. It caters to the majority, and because genuine intelligence is rare, those who possess it often find themselves misunderstood, out of place, and disconnected. Your struggle to form deep connections is not due to a lack of social skills or effort. It is simply because so few people can truly meet you at your level. Instead of admiration, you are met with misunderstanding. Instead of feeling ahead, you feel alienated. And as you grow older, this isolation only deepens. But your experience is not just a personal struggle, there is a larger force at work. Something has been shaping society for decades, systematically suppressing intelligence and critical thought. Have you noticed how society appears to be getting dumber? How critical thinking is being replaced by blind acceptance? How entertainment is becoming increasingly brainless? How conversations feel more shallow, and how people seem to be reacting more than thinking? This phenomenon has a name: the Idiocracy effect. Inspired by the 2006 film Idiocracy, this concept describes the gradual, systematic dumbing down of society. The movie was meant as satire, a cautionary tale, a joke about what might happen if intelligence were neglected. But today, it is no longer a joke. It is reality. Look around. Society rewards simplicity, not complexity. Deep thinking is dismissed as overanalyzing, and questioning the status quo is treated as dangerous. The world has shifted from intellectual curiosity to emotional reactivity, and the consequences are everywhere. The average person no longer seeks truth, they seek comfort. They don't want facts, they want validation. They don't want logic. They want something that reinforces their existing beliefs. The result? A world that actively rejects intelligence in favor of entertainment, distraction, and conformity. And if you think this is merely an exaggeration, let's examine the scientific proof. Studies have shown that the human attention span has plummeted over the past few decades. In the year 2000, the average attention span was approximately 12 seconds. Today, it has dropped to around 8 seconds, shorter than that of a goldfish. Why? Because modern technology has rewired our brains. Social media, short-form videos, and infinite scrolling have conditioned people to crave instant gratification over deep, focused thought. People no longer have the patience to analyze, reflect, or engage in meaningful discussions. Instead, they consume fragmented information, headlines without context, opinions without evidence, and narratives carefully designed to provoke emotional responses, rather than encourage logical conclusions. Education, once a tool for learning how to think, has now been reduced to a system that dictates what to think. Schools no longer encourage students to question, challenge, or innovate. Instead, they train them to memorize and regurgitate information for standardized tests. Creativity is discouraged, independent thought is penalized, questioning authority is seen as disruptive. The result? A system that mass-produces obedient workers rather than intelligent thinkers. Over time, this conditioning has created generations of people who are unable or unwilling to think critically. They blindly accept the information presented to them without questioning its accuracy or validity. The modern world doesn't care about making you think. It wants to keep you emotionally engaged. News headlines are no longer designed to inform, they are designed to provoke. Outrage generates clicks, and clicks generate revenue. This is why modern media does not encourage nuanced discussions or logical debates. It thrives on sensationalized narratives that trigger knee-jerk reactions. People are no longer taught to evaluate both sides of an issue. They are conditioned to pick a side and defend it at all costs. And once emotion replaces logic, critical thinking becomes nearly impossible. So what happens when a society stops thinking? When intelligence is ignored? When people no longer have the patience to question, analyze, or challenge the status quo? That is when the real curse of intelligence begins. Being intelligent is often seen as a gift, but in a world that rejects deep thought, it can feel like a burden. Here's why. Constant boredom. The world moves too slowly for you. You grasp ideas in minutes that take others days to understand. Conversations feel repetitive. Entertainment is predictable. The routines that most people find satisfying feel painfully dull. Your mind craves stimulation, yet the world rarely provides it. Difficulty forming deep connections. You seek conversations that challenge your intellect, that push you to think in new and profound ways. But those conversations are rare. Most people aren't interested in discussing abstract ideas or exploring complex philosophical questions. So you are left with two choices: suppress your intelligence to fit in, or isolate yourself entirely. Mental exhaustion from explaining basic ideas. One of the greatest frustrations of intelligence is constantly having to slow down for others. You recognize patterns before others even see the problem. You think 5 steps ahead, while most people are still struggling to grasp step 1. Every time you have to explain something that seems obvious to you, it drains you. It feels like you must constantly lower yourself to match the pace of society. Over time, this exhaustion builds up. You either learn to hide your intelligence to avoid conflict, or grow increasingly frustrated with the world around you. And that is the trap. The intelligence trap. The world needs intelligent minds. It needs deep thinkers. But instead of nurturing them, it isolates them, suppresses them, and buries them under layers of distraction. It conditions them to believe they are the problem, to doubt themselves, to shrink, to conform. But unless you recognize this pattern, unless you learn how to navigate this system, you risk falling into the same trap that has ensnared millions before you. However, there is a way out. In the next section, we will expose why the system actively suppresses intelligence, how it keeps brilliant minds trapped, and, most importantly, how you can break free from it. Stay tuned. If you are highly intelligent, this thought has likely crossed your mind more times than you can count. Why does the world feel so slow? Why does society seem to resist deep thinking, logic, and innovation at every turn? The answer, though unsettling, is simple. The world is not designed to foster intelligence. Instead, it is structured for stability, predictability, and control. Intelligence, by its very nature, disrupts this balance. Independent thought challenges the status quo, and those who think too deeply, too quickly, or too differently are often seen as problems to be managed rather than as assets to be cultivated. The system does not encourage thinkers. It seeks followers. It does not reward brilliance. It rewards obedience. Over decades, it has meticulously refined its methods to keep intelligent individuals trapped, distracted, and stripped of their power. Let's break this down, step by step. From the moment you were capable of independent thought, the system began working against you. It employs three primary strategies to prevent you from realizing your full potential and breaking free. 1. Misdirection. Overloading your mind with distractions. Take a look around. What dominates modern society? Endless entertainment, addictive social media platforms, clickbait headlines, and sensationalized news cycles. People spend hours each day consuming mindless content, short clips, viral trends, and emotionally charged posts designed to provoke knee-jerk reactions rather than thoughtful discourse. This isn't a coincidence. It's a deliberate tactic. By flooding your consciousness with a never-ending stream of low-level distractions, the system ensures that your attention remains fractured. You become too busy, too entertained, too overstimulated to engage in deep, critical thinking. When was the last time you sat in silence, simply thinking? The last time you read something genuinely challenging, not for entertainment, but for intellectual growth? Most people today can't even watch a 5-minute video without instinctively reaching for their phone. The system has transformed intellectual starvation into a way of life. And once your mind is conditioned to crave constant stimulation, your ability to focus, analyze, and think deeply begins to atrophy. But if distractions aren't enough to keep you in check, the system deploys its second weapon. 2. Psychological warfare. Convincing you that you are the problem. If you are highly intelligent, you've likely been told things like, "You're overthinking it," "You're too difficult," "You just don't fit in." Society has gaslit intelligent individuals into believing that their struggles are personal failures rather than the inevitable result of living in a world designed for the average mind. From childhood, those who ask too many questions are labeled troublemakers. Those who challenge authority are deemed disruptive. Those who think faster than their peers are often called arrogant, impatient, or socially awkward. But the truth is, you are not the problem. The system simply isn't built to accommodate true intelligence. It never has been. Instead, it forces intelligent people to shrink themselves, to slow down, to conform, and to make themselves smaller so as not to disrupt the fragile order of the world around them. And the longer you internalize these messages, the more you start to believe them. You begin doubting yourself, questioning your own instincts. You suppress your thoughts, dilute your insights, and censor your ideas just to fit in. But self-doubt alone isn't enough to control you. The system needs one final layer of dominance. Why the world rejects intelligence. 1. The system is built for stability, not innovation. For centuries, civilizations have thrived on order, predictability, and control. Governments, corporations, and institutions do not want a population of highly intelligent, independent thinkers. They want people who follow the script, who work, consume, and obey. Innovation is unpredictable. Intelligence is disruptive. The system does not reward things that threaten its stability. 2. Corporations value compliance over brilliance. In the corporate world, raw intelligence is not what gets rewarded. Loyalty is. Compliance is. Predictability is. Look at any major company. The most intelligent employees do not rise to the top. The most obedient ones do. The ones who play the game, follow orders, and don't question authority. True intelligence? It is often ignored, overlooked, or even punished because it does not fit neatly into the corporate hierarchy. 3. Education rewards. Memorization, not thinking. Have you ever wondered why schools emphasize memorization over critical thinking? Because the education system was never designed to produce thinkers. It was designed to produce workers. Modern schooling is based on an industrial-era model that prioritizes obedience over intelligence. Students are taught to follow the curriculum, to accept authority without question, to regurgitate facts for standardized tests. Curiosity is not rewarded, it is suppressed. Independent thought is not encouraged, it is discouraged. By the time most people graduate, they have been conditioned to follow, not to think. The intelligence trap. Why you feel alone. If you have an IQ of 130 or higher, you might not fully grasp just how vast the gap is between you and the average person. To put it into perspective, The difference between you and someone with an average IQ of 100 is as large as the gap between the average person and someone with an IQ of 70. In other words, to most people, you seem as incomprehensible as someone who is clinically impaired seems to them. This is why the world feels so slow, why people struggle to grasp what seems obvious to you, why society feels frustrating, illogical, and broken. Because in many ways, it is. The system was not built for intelligence, it was built for the average. And when you operate far beyond that level, you are not merely ahead. You are completely out of sync with the world around you. This is the intelligence trap. The world needs brilliant minds. But instead of nurturing them, it isolates them, suppresses them, and keeps them trapped. But there is a way out. In the next section, we will explore exactly how to escape the system, leverage your intelligence, and reclaim control over your mind, your freedom, and your future. If you've made it this far, then you already understand the truth, one that most people either refuse to see or have been conditioned to ignore. The system was never created to reward intelligence. It was designed to control it, suppress it, and manipulate it for its own gain. Instead of fostering brilliance, it finds ways to distract you, isolate you, and convince you that your struggles are personal rather than structural. But now that you recognize the trap for what it truly is, the question remains: how do you break free? Most people are led to believe that the answer is simple: work harder, prove yourself, and eventually the system will reward you for your intelligence and efforts. But that is a deception, a carefully crafted illusion to keep you compliant. The harsh truth is this: the system is rigged, and playing by its rules will never set you free. If intelligence alone was enough to guarantee success, then the most brilliant minds would be the wealthiest, most influential, and most celebrated individuals on the planet. But that's not how the world works, is it? Instead, mediocrity is elevated, while true intelligence is either ignored, suppressed, or exploited. Why? Because intelligence in itself is not what the system values. The system only rewards intelligence when it serves its own interests. If your mind can be used to generate wealth for corporations, they will keep you around, but only as long as you remain obedient. If your intelligence can be harnessed and directed to benefit those already in power, it will be tolerated, but never truly rewarded. But if your intelligence threatens the status quo, it will be silenced, ridiculed, or even destroyed. So what's the solution? The reality is that intelligence alone is useless unless you know how to apply it strategically. It doesn't matter how brilliant you are if you lack the ability to leverage your intelligence for your own benefit. And that is where leverage comes into play. If you truly want to escape the system, you cannot rely on intelligence alone. You must master leverage. Leverage is the defining factor that separates those who rise above the system from those who remain trapped within it. The most powerful and successful individuals in the world do not play by the system's rules. Instead, they use leverage to turn the system in their favor. There are 3 critical forms of leverage that you must master in order to break free. 1. Stop seeking permission. This is the first and most crucial step. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to discover you, validate your intelligence, or hand you an opportunity. If you are waiting for the world to recognize your value and reward you accordingly, you will be waiting forever. The job you believe will appreciate your ideas. They will exploit your talents until they no longer need you. The system you think will promote you based on merit. It will pass you over in favor of someone more compliant, someone who fits the mold. The validation you seek from society. It will never come, at least not in the way you expect. The world only takes you seriously once you take yourself seriously. That means stop waiting for permission to act. Stop waiting for the right time to take risks. Stop waiting for approval from people who don't even understand your potential. You must declare yourself valuable, powerful, and capable without waiting for external validation. The moment you stop asking for permission to pursue your ambitions is the moment you begin to reclaim control over your own destiny. 2. Master leverage. Leverage is the key that separates those who control the system from those who are controlled by it. It allows you to multiply your intelligence, amplify your efforts, and maximize your impact. Instead of trading your time for money in a system designed to limit your growth, you must build systems that work for you. There are three major forms of leverage that you need to understand and apply. Business. The most successful individuals don't work for others. They create businesses, systems, and assets that generate income independently. This could mean starting a company, investing in appreciating assets, or building something that provides value at scale. Automation. The smartest individuals do not waste time on repetitive, low-level tasks. They outsource, automate, and delegate so they can focus on higher-level thinking. If you are doing the same routine work every day, you are stuck in a loop of inefficiency. Strategic influence. The most powerful individuals are not always the most intelligent, but they understand how to align themselves with power. They build strong networks, cultivate relationships, and gain access to opportunities that the average person will never even know exist. Mastering leverage means working smarter, not harder. It means understanding the rules of the game rather than simply being a pawn in someone else's system. 3. Rewrite your own rules. Everything you've been told about success is a carefully designed script meant to keep you in line. Go to school. Get good grades. Get a safe job. Work hard. Follow the system. Be patient and success will come. This is the greatest deception ever told. The people who truly break free do not follow this script. Instead, they write their own rules. Instead of chasing degrees, they chase skills. Instead of waiting for a promotion, they create their own opportunities. Instead of hoping the system will reward them, they learn how to bend the system to serve them. Once you stop playing by the rules designed to keep you trapped, you will finally begin to understand how much power you actually have. The secret to true success. Energy management. Escaping the system is not just about strategy, it's also about energy. Most people believe that success is a result of intelligence or talent. But in reality, success is about energy management. The most accomplished individuals in the world do not just work harder or think smarter. They control their energy with precision. Physical energy. A sharp mind requires a strong body. If your body is weak, tired, or unhealthy, your brain will suffer. That's why successful individuals treat their physical health as a non-negotiable priority. Exercise daily to boost focus, cognitive function, and endurance. Eat strategically, cut out processed junk, and fuel your brain with real nutrients. Prioritize sleep. A tired mind is an ineffective mind. Your intelligence is worthless if your body is too weak to support it. Treat your physical health like a weapon, because in many ways it is. Mental energy, focus is power. Your mind is constantly under attack from distractions, information overload, and meaningless noise. The most successful people guard their mental energy ruthlessly. They eliminate distractions, no mindless scrolling, no wasted hours on useless entertainment. They control their focus. They don't react to everything around them. They choose what deserves their attention. They practice deep work. Instead of multitasking, they train their minds to focus on one important thing at a time. Your mental energy is your most valuable resource. Protect it at all costs. Emotional energy. Stop seeking validation from the average. One of the greatest traps intelligent people fall into is seeking validation from those who will never understand them. Stop explaining yourself to people who don't get it. Stop waiting for approval from those who fear intelligence. Stop lowering your standards just to fit in. The world will never fully validate intelligence because intelligence is a threat to the system. But once you stop needing that validation, you become untouchable. The system is rigged. Intelligence alone will not save you. But if you master leverage, reclaim your power, and stop seeking permission, then, and only then, will you truly be free. By now, you've come to understand the game being played around you. You've seen the system for what it truly is, a vast, deeply ingrained structure designed not to elevate intelligence, but to suppress it. A framework that ensures those who think deeply, who question the status quo, who seek true understanding, never rise to real power. The harsh reality, the one most people will never accept, is this: you cannot change the system. The system is too massive, too established, too embedded into the very fabric of society to ever be dismantled from within. It was not built to reward intelligence, and no matter how exceptional your ideas may be, No matter how much insight you bring to the table, the system will not suddenly pivot to accommodate you. The world does not bend to intelligence, it resists it. So what do? You must outgrow the system entirely. You must build something beyond its reach. The reason why so many intelligent people feel trapped, isolated, and unfulfilled is because they are attempting to succeed within a structure that was never designed for them. They seek meaning, validation, and success in a world that does not understand them, nor does it want to. That stops today. If you want to break free, you must stop adapting to a system that was built to contain you and start constructing your own reality. And that begins with 3 fundamental, non-negotiable shifts in your approach to life. Step 1. Find the right people. Your tribe determines your altitude. The first and most urgent step in escaping the system is to align yourself with the right people. If you are surrounded by individuals who have small minds, engage in shallow conversations, and fail to see beyond the surface of reality, your intelligence will begin to suffocate. It will shrink. You will start dulling yourself down just to fit in, suppressing your depth of thought because no one around you can comprehend it. Most people live in intellectual isolation, not because they are physically alone, but because they are mentally surrounded by the wrong people. Look around you. Who do you spend your time with? Are they individuals who challenge your thinking, push you forward, inspire you to expand beyond the limitations imposed by society? Or are they people who drain your energy, keep you stagnant, dismiss your ambitions, and ridicule what they cannot understand? If it's the latter, you must leave. There is no compromise on this. Your mind will either be expanded or eroded by the people you interact with daily. You need a tribe, people who think at your level, who view the world in high resolution, who are not afraid of deep thought and revolutionary ideas. Intelligence does not thrive in isolation. It thrives in the presence of other sharp minds. Once you have the right people around you, the next step becomes inevitable. Step 2. Build independent wealth. Stop trading your intelligence for survival. Here's an undeniable truth. As long as you rely on the system for your financial survival, you will never be free. If you work for someone else, your time, your creativity, your mental energy, it all belongs to them. The moment you begin thinking too independently, challenging the status quo, or questioning the rules, you become a threat. And threats are neutralized. This is why intelligent people must build their own financial independence. Money is not just currency, it is control. It is the ability to walk away from anything that no longer serves you. It is the ability to say no to exploitation, to manipulation, to limitations. The wealthiest and most powerful individuals in history did not rise to the top by climbing corporate ladders. They built their own empires. They created systems, investments, and assets that generated wealth without dependence on a single employer or industry. So ask yourself, are you working to survive, or are you working to escape? Because until you break free from financial dependence, your intelligence will always be used as a tool to benefit someone else. Step 3. Use intelligence to control systems, not be controlled by them. There are 2 types of people in this world. 1. Those who follow systems without question. 2. Those who design the systems and control the rules. Most people exist within structures they do not understand. They blindly obey rules handed to them, never questioning their origin, never realizing that these rules were not created in their favor. They operate within a game where they don't even know the rules, let alone how to win. But the truly powerful do not follow, they create. They understand how systems function, how incentives shape behavior, and how power flows behind the scenes. And they use this knowledge to their advantage. If you are intelligent, you already see the patterns that others miss. You notice how industries are structured, how influence is manipulated, how decisions are made behind closed doors. So the question is, are you using this intelligence to build systems for yourself? Or are you allowing others to use your intelligence to reinforce their own power? The system will always exist. But you have 2 choices. Be a pawn in someone else's game, or design your own game entirely. This is what separates those who truly break free from those who remain perpetually trapped. The final truth: intelligence has always been under attack. History has never celebrated true intelligence. It tolerates it only when it is convenient. It restricts it when it becomes inconvenient. And it destroys it when it becomes a genuine threat. Why? Because deep thought leads to revolution. Society does not want individuals who question authority, who challenge narratives, who think beyond the surface, because questions dismantle control. But here's the real secret. You do not have to fight the war directly. You do not need to fix the system. You just have to escape it. Once you accept that the system cannot be changed, you stop wasting energy trying to reform it and instead focus all of your energy on liberating yourself from it. 1. Find your tribe. The right people will elevate you. 2. Create independent wealth. Money buys you freedom. 3. Control systems. Stop following rules. Start designing them. The system is not your enemy. It is simply a structure that exists. And the moment you outgrow it, you will realize you never needed to participate in it at all. Most people will never reach this level of understanding. They will remain trapped in distractions, economic chains, and psychological warfare they do not even recognize. But you are different. You have seen the truth, and once you see it, you can never go back. So now, the next move is yours. Will you keep playing the game that was never designed for you, or will you finally build a reality of your own?